And with that dragon fix, we're ready and it's time. Hello to you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and everybody over here in the chat. You guys have made it over here. Some audio issues this morning. My God, let me know if this is actually working. It took me like an hour to figure this out. It was something stupid, as it always is. But I'm here. It's Saturday. I'm excited about some pinball. I'm going to crack the Diet Coke. Shout out to Jamie Burchell's favorite drink. Oh, yes. And we got some stuff to talk about. I miss Fix too, man. We got to get him on. The Fixinator. Where's he at? I guess he's still doing tournaments and things locally. I should text the guy. Yes, perfect. All right. Solid. Celebrating Turner this week because Merlin's Arcade is landing at locations. I've seen 2 of them so far. You Like Arcade over in Michigan. Yeah, it's kind of south of Detroit. In the corpse of a dying mall, there springs forth a pretty awesome pinball arcade for a mall location. They got a Batman Forever and everything. And I think it was the place that I had a decent game on Batman 66. Redeemed itself a bit. So those are shipping out. I talked to Chris the other day. I'm trying to find out if he's got a new game coming soon for TPF again. Of course, last year was Merlin's Arcade. This year, maybe something else. Oh, Brian Kaz. I hope Fix. He went back to get his job at ICE, and then it was like a different ICE, and now he's in a uniform. Oh my God. Somebody fire up the AI generator. I do have new shirt designs coming in, including some secret stuff. The Fix is My Homeboy shirt will be available, but that will be, you have to contact me directly to get that. I'm not going to advertise that one. It is amazing. But Turner Pinball. Chris Turner, friend of the show, Merlin's Arcade, getting out 2 locations, which I dig. I want to play it some more, so having him on location makes sense to me. You know, if I had a spot that was publicly available, for sure I'd have every one of his games so people could play him. Oh, Ian, Mr. Doc Monday. So yeah, the other big news, starting tomorrow, we're all congealing into Elk Grove Village once again for Stern Mania. Tuesday the 9th for the distros, us media types on the 10th, including my +1 Patreon member. Excited about that. We all have to sign NDAs as of now. As of right now, there's no permission for Stern to market this new game that they have. So we all have to sign non-disclosure agreements if we want to go in there and play it, which is going to be terrible because part of the fun of doing this is walking in and live streaming and like showing everything that's going on in the factory for everybody else, you know, that can't be there, which is most of humanity, right? And so if we're not going to be able to do that, I don't know. I guess we hang out, we do some interviews, and then like lock down that content until we're allowed to be embargo lifted. I don't like being under NDA because I like to talk about stuff. And you know, we didn't break into American Pinball. We knocked on the door, we walked in, announced ourselves, hey, just stopping by, and then we got a whole tour. It was great. It was awesome. I wish we had more time there. I've always had fun when I've gone to American Pinball, and I think that's why we're all bummed that they're not, you know, thriving in the public eye right now. Not making checks hockey. What? What? So, I'm excited for this game. Anyway, it's going to be launch week regardless. We're just not going to be able to go on record as of yet about our impressions of the game. It's going to be hopefully fairly decent, or it could be more run-of-the-mill. And either way, I think it sells units. So, I mean, where's the onus exactly on making this game? But I would hope that this would be a redemption game for Stern. They know the reception, it's just off screen, of the former Star Wars, right over there. One of my favorite games, once I learned how to play it, you know, we used to have this thing in coasters where, like, you know, your favorite roller coaster might be frowned upon, and you were like, you just have to know how to ride it. And then people would say, well, if you need to know how to ride it, it's not a good ride. And we would argue back and forth forever because that's what we did. But once I learned how to play it, how the multiplier system works, it was fun. It's a fun space battle game. I dig it for some reason, and I can't fully capitulate as to why. But in their intentions, they should know of the reception and some things to do from the ground up, because this is a brand new game. It's not a remaster, not a retrend, not a re-release, but a whole new platform of a game. They should be able to put that magic in there we've been asking for since, what, 2017 or whatever, when this game came out. Okay, Pat's Arcade coming in with the fire in the comments. They should have got all the licensing signed before even advertising the game. They probably, well, they probably had it, and they were probably told, yeah, you guys will be fine. You're going to have everything by the time we go live. Don't worry about it. And then one thing leads to another. The week is running out. The marketing team was focused on other things, and it was on the agenda. It was supposed to be done, and then it just didn't happen. You know, Denise from the office probably had the whole timeline of everything that should have been approved done that day, and they just didn't get to it. It could be as simple as that. Kong came out like kind of in the middle of the month. Let's see. What's the best analog for this game? I guess X-Men. I don't have the release date for X-Men. I know with Kong we got a trailer, and then 2 days later we had Media Day, and that's probably what was set to happen here. And I'm sure they had assurances that this was going to happen. I don't know if I would call it an S show specifically. There's always a chance tomorrow, Monday, that they get approvals. That's my shirt's bunching up. I think I got a bad camera angle. I think there's always a chance that that comes through and we are able to see trailer prior to launch. We'll see. Either way, I did a show yesterday, kind of mentioned this. We're going to know everybody's impressions pretty soon, at least. You know, we can't share details, but I think the level of excitement will be palpable, NDA or not. Like, do we all appear excited or do we all appear dejected? And I think you'll be able to read into that, I guess. But as far as like seeing images and stuff and leaks, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to make us check our cameras and things at the door, or if they're just going to be like, don't bring them out. Or if you do bring them out, don't go live and don't post anything until the embargo lifts. My spooky corner. Yeah, I know. I got Looney Tunes back from a rental. It's around the corner. I got to go grab that. Yeah, Stern could use a banger right now. Although Kong was good, right? I mean, did Kong have anything in it that we didn't enjoy? I guess, I think it's that whole thing of we expected it to be good, and it was good, so none of us are really surprised and shocked like we were in Godzilla days. Like, man, this is like, we weren't expecting this from just this crummy run-of-the-mill license, right? Blink 3 times if you think the game is awesome. There'll be ways to convey, if we're excited. The whole point of a lot of this, for us collectors, is we're trying to understand, is this a game I should go ahead and invest my funds on? It takes a period of time for everybody to build up that money for a pinball purchase. And we never know what's kind of right around the corner, until we get really close to it. And it's like, I have this money here. I don't want to go in on Star Wars if I find out it's kind of just mediocre. I should have waited, and then something else gets announced and released, and it's like, oh, I wish I would have gotten that, right? So as much lead time as we can get, and that's where I think the content people help with this. If there is a lead time where this is a game you should go ahead and get now, or you know what, this is one you probably should play first, give it some time. Something else really cool is about to drop. I mean, forecasting, that Big Bang Bar is coming. Sounds like Pedretti's doing it. A game I don't have a lot of lust after because, while rare, I don't think it's a great game. I'm happy for people that really want it. Hopefully it sells well and they make enough to keep going and do a game like Tales of Arabian Nights that everybody does want. Or Twilight Zone, one of those. But I'm okay with this and that. We know Spooky's got a game coming probably December. Probably it's going to be great. Probably I'm totally getting one. Is my mic upset? Oh, really? What's going on with the microphone? All right, let me jump in my settings while we all talk here. Should be good. Have you not been able to buy the coveted prototype yet? Not yet. We're trying. Is the mic still bad? What happened? All right, going to jump over to the other microphone. This one probably sounds not as good, but let me know if this is working, and then we'll jump back to the other one. I think when your neck hits at certain poses. Oh, really? It's a wireless mic, so I don't know. I just switched to my camera. Does this totally suck now, or we can go with this audio too? Fine, we'll just keep it. All right. Oh, maybe. Maybe some neck fat got in there. the, the mic hole. All right, perfect. We'll keep with this. What the hell were we talking about? Big Bang Bar. No. All right, so our game's good. That's kind of what we need to know, right? So, Star Wars is a game. It's a cornerstone from Stern. It's going to be made for the next 5 years or so. Do we need to get one right now, or should we save that money for what's coming in December? And I think that's really what people want to know. Like, is this game good or not? The game's going to be bought by locations. It's going to be available to be played. It's going to be in tournaments. I mean, it's a Stern release. It's a Cornerstone Stern, right? But I think we all want to know, since this is the next Star Wars game, is this cool? So we'll see. Put the mic on your hat. I could try that. Good point. That looks like it's my fishing license. All right. I'll jump back to it. You guys let me know what you think. All right, how are we audioing now? I'll keep it up there. I'll put on the Spooky Boner hat. I wish I had a team, you know? I need a like live stream crew. There's so many moving parts to this and so much stuff to learn to get these things to go off and actually, you know, in a functional manner. Franchi's here. What's up, man? Um, can't wait for the new Franchi Fire. All right, we'll go with that, and I'll try to keep my neck out of the mic. Chris, how's your Sunday going? I was talking to Chris the other day. I think on the Spooky live stream. Oh yeah, that's right. I was on it. Oh, Jason Matesic, Matto, to his friends. Is there still a price hike coming on Spike 3? Probably, but they're not doing it now. We thought it was coming with Kong. I thought for sure with like the actual Spike 3 it would come, but it's still not. I dig that, but then if I read into it, is it because they know this Star Wars game is a turd? It can't be. Come on. So should I buy the next Spooky for my arcade? Uh, I mean, yeah, if you can get one. They're gonna go quick. But I think so. If I had an arcade, I would put it in there for sure. And you know, even though I'd be catering to families and everything, I think I put it in there. Guys, it seems like it's taking forever for that reveal, man. Captain's here. Kev, good morning. How you doing? Brian Cause, it's been several months now. How's your arcade doing? River City's Arcade. I saw you're giving away a t-shirt on the Facebook group, it looks like. So I think you have to like, share, and sub to the River City's Arcade, which you should. Danville, Virginia. I still need to make a hike down there. I've been wanting to get back to Virginia. I used to live right over the hills in West Virginia. Um, and we would go into Roanoke all the time. The fall of the empire. Here's hoping. Here's hoping, man. The fall of the Stern Empire. So it's a 2 flipper game, probably fan layout. It's gonna have some sculpts in it. No word on mechanisms. Early word has been temper your expectations and don't expect like the second coming of Godzilla. A crumbling Death Star with balls locked on top of it. Like you lock balls in the trench on the Death Star, then the whole thing descends when it explodes and you get a multi-ball. We've been open 10 months, doing good. I do giveaways every few weeks. Cause, that's great, man. you went from just like location route owner to like actual location owner. Cause, what's your split between pinball machines and regular arcade games and redemption? Or do you do redemption games too and run a prize counter and all that? Or is it just claw machines and stuff? And which ones are earning for you? For me, it's simple. If this is a new Star Wars, it has a content of episodes 4, 5, 6, it's a buy. If it's in the world of Star Wars with a homegrown story, oh my god, can you imagine if they did that? Have 60 games total, 8 pins, $10 free play. $10? Is that like $10 for an hour? That seems ridiculously cheap for 60 games. And just $10. What else are you doing for revenue though? Are you selling refreshments and t-shirts, and do you have a bouncy house? Because I do these mind exercises where I think about like what would my location be like if I had one. Of course I would want just like wall to wall pinball and a couple of rhythm games or something. But it's like that's the pinball fan in me. But if I'm a business person trying to make money in the US, what am I going to put in that's actually going to make money? And I look at the successful arcades. We were just in Wisconsin Dells last night. We went to the Wilderness. We went to Great Wolf Lodge, and they have very successful arcades. They're ridiculously overpriced. Everything is on card swipe. They can vary the cost of their games on the fly. And yeah, I spent $50, and we got 2 plush toys at the end of it, and we had fun. We aren't getting Star Wars in England. I have a question. Oh, yeah, y'all got done dirty. Don, did you not get a Dune? I didn't get a Dune. Um, Not to say I don't want. Actually, I don't want a Dune. I do. Um, it was hard for me to justify Dune with the price increase and like 3 steps away from a theme that I really liked. Like I was all in on Labyrinth. We saw Labyrinth, all those sculpts, the David Bowie songs, all the Muppet characters, the Jim Henson characters, and I was like enthralled with that game, man. I had to have one. Pinball Studio, you're on time, man. You're on time. We're just hanging out. And so for Labyrinth, like that was like a game that was specifically made for me. Like I was ready for it. Just blown away by like how the art worked and how they sculpted that entire village and Ludo popping up. When you look at Dune, it's barren, right? There's the rock sculpt in the back right. Of course, Arrakis is a desert planet. But there's no like big fortress that's there that you can explore in multi levels or anything. Um, the worm is interesting. It's only really one shot up to get at it. I haven't seen it function as so much as a bash toy. And then it is very slow to kind of come up and take the ball and go down. And I don't know what I would have expected otherwise. Maybe like a more quicker worm reveal, shoot into it, worm goes away. It can come back spontaneously and block shots. Um, but I don't know. Like I'm not passionate about Dune like I was with anything Jim Henson, dude. And then it came with a price increase, and I was like, oh gosh. And we didn't have like a topper at launch, and it's like, I just don't know. Um, Labyrinth was a much easier buy. Plus, the time was different too. We were coming out of COVID. I was looking at, man, they're gonna launch this game. It's only 1,000. Games were still trading higher than MSRP back then. So it was like, let me get a deposit so I'm safe on this. And I'm glad I had the game. Loved it. I love all the call outs and everything. And that was the part that I haven't experienced with Dune, is that same level. Like there's no Mark Silk in Dune, like constantly in my ear with funny stuff. There's no Bog of Eternal Stench that is changing the color of your score permanently, even on the leaderboard. Like all those little touches were cool. The fire rays that would pop out of the apron, the madcap mayhem. Dune's like too serious. Like I feel like this is a refined pinball experience, sir. You need to be wearing pants to play this game, and this is like high class pinball, and so it's hard for me to just like jump into that because I'm anything but that, right? 2 claw machines that sell snacks and drinks. I love it. Kev says his local arcade Game Galaxy outside of Nashville, $20 free play all day. All right, with about 200 arcade and 190 pins. Yikes! You can pay an extra $5 for boutique pins like Spooky, Jersey, and Barrels. I like that. I like have a special corralled area with like the really good games, and like those old road shows and things. You can play those on free play. Pants are for suckers. I agree, man. How did we get suckered into that? You can't even tell if I'm wearing pants right now. Labyrinth looked too dark for me and a little confusing. Like dark, like light-wise or dark theme-wise? I will say it was a little bit frustrating with how tight some of the shots were on Labyrinth, and I wasn't ever able to capture all the orbs and get like super deep into the game. But like, I loved all the little pop-up characters, all the little mechs everywhere. Ludo coming up out of the freaking town back there. Little fireys that would pop up. I like that mech where the gameplay mechanic where you would lock a ball behind the forks and then you could send that ball backwards through the spinner. That was fun. I dug that. I like what they're doing with their cabinets. Their Evergloss, right? Their Horizon Lights, they're calling them. Thunder from Down Under. I hate that name for a shaker motor. So I think paired with a better theme, a little more of a forgiving layout, so a average player like me can advance in the game, I think they'd really have a hit. But it was hard to see a game that seemed to take itself too serious and didn't have like the magical world to explore, and then came with a price increase, kept me from jumping on Dune day one. Not to say that I'm not watching the secondary market, and if they come down to 7,500, yeah, I'd probably pick one up, especially now that the code's advanced. But I just don't think it's going to capture the same magic that Labyrinth did. But that's okay. Not every game's for every person, right? I know John just unboxed his Dune, and it was like his wife told him he had to get it because she's totally into it, and like that might be like their favorite game. Totally cool. I've gotten the big screen of the arcade. Yes, dude. Welcome to the Pinball Studio, everybody. Come in through the doors, dude. For a like this is like a personal shed that you built, and you totally themed this thing amazingly. The Pinball Studio down there. I don't know, somewhere. What town is it in? Savannah. I know it's around there. But what Sterling did with his backyard shed, like new building, and turned it into just like this awesome pinball hangout tournament spot, looks amazing. I need to do an appearance, sir. Last time I've done under the arcade, he was wearing a dress. Accurate, accurate. That was fun. I haven't done a fun unboxing since Harry Potter. I don't think I've done a unboxing. Has anything come out? Kong did. I didn't really do anything special for Kong. Um, I don't know when Star Wars will actually get it. Richmond Hill, Georgia. Get down to the pinball studio. Shout to the out. Post pictures of that place, man. That place is awesome. You should do like weekly live streams from there, just walking around. Um, and then Star Wars isn't coming out premium wise until October. I'm gonna be at Expo. Um, so probably by Expo, I think I'd have my Star Wars and I could do an unboxing. What if I did a live unboxing at Expo of the new game, and then we could all like hang out there and play it? Like I could live stream it from the show floor, unbox the thing, and then we could all play Star Wars at the booth. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be super fun. I don't know if I'd wear a dress that time. It made sense for Harry Potter. The joke was that it was making a transformation potion, polyjuice potion in the Harry Potter universe. And you're supposed to use like powdered rhino horn, but all I could find was Mountain Dew. So I used that. So of course the potion misfired, and instead of becoming like a more powerful wizard, I became Hermione or whatever, or some lady in a red wig that I had laying around. I think that'd be fun, and I think timing wise that would line up. And then I can roll on into Expo, and then we could do a live unboxing. I think that'd be fun. So maybe we can do that. Bet. The thumbnail for this episode is the new D&D topper I'm working on. It's right there. I don't know if this is going to become like something available commercially for purchase, but I'm going to make a couple of these, and I'm going to bring it to the topper contest that's going on at Expo. Going to be super fun. All right, so we talked about Star Wars. I want to make sure we did that. I want to cover Merlin's Arcade, going out. I love it anytime a company takes money for a game, builds the game, ships the game, and the game is out there. And then I can't wait to see what's next from actually Barrels. and what's next from Turner. Because this will be, Merlin is Turner's sophomore release, right? Ninja Clips came out, it sold its 100. That was their first game. Then Merlin's came out, and it was like already designed by, I forget the one of those pinball designer names. It's escaping me. Someone will have it in chat. Not Dennis Nordman, but like one of those ilk. So then, is he going to go with another like Merlin's Arcade planned for Deep Root game, or is it going to be something like, okay, now he's got a license, now he's had time to work on it, and we're going to see like the magnum opus from Turner Pinball, which is what I would like to see. That's a pretty loose lineup on there. Could fit another game or two. I know. So I got Looney Tunes is around the corner. I've got to throw it back in the lineup. Um, I do have more games. I've expanded now. You can't see it. Let's see. At risk of ruining everything, I did expand the lineup down in that direction. So we got TNG on the end, Black Knight, Pulp Fiction, and my Lucky Hand that I picked up. That was a local pickup. Super awesome. So we have entered the realm of the EM. Got my ring light in the back of Stranger Things. Oh, I'll allow it. Let's talk Predator. Let's. That kid number 3 in the world was ripping that machine. Right? Yeah, like that's the whole thing with Predator. Like this game might be actually super awesome, and we haven't had a way to know that. And so yeah, like it looks fun now. It looks at least as fun as Alien, which I think is fine. I can't wait to play them at Expo. So yeah, it'll be cool. Now, $12,000. I'm glad the price came down. But still, like 12K. Yeah. So there's more than I want to spend on one of those. Looking for an EM Abracadabra 2, a mix of all eras. I mean, it's fun having it. I just took my my lucky hand. I redid all the plastics, redid all the rubbers, and threw LEDs in it. And the thing is like dazzling now. This game was straight out of the 70s. It had been in someone's basement for 40 years. And those little incandescent bulbs over 40 years' time will cause the plastics to melt and warp and crack. So I got rid of all the original ones, to put all all new ones in there. And now like it's popping, man. The LEDs are almost too bright, and I get that people say that, but yeah, it's pretty dazzling. I think if the game had a soundtrack and some modes, you could probably remake that today. You know, should EMs be remade now? Should we see EM remakes with modes and LCD screens? I just got a Grand Lizard. Dude, awesome. Leaving that house. Jorge, what are you talking about? I never leave the house. Nice lineup looking for EM. Yeah. You think Turner will make another Deep Root game? Maybe he's making Goonies. I would love it. Dude, Turner's Goonies. Let's do it. I want to see it. Like, I think Turner with a light. It doesn't have to be Harry Potter, Star Wars, or Pokemon. But just like a good license, fun, family friendly, to a T. I would dig it, man. You can be stocked and stoked, Sterling. So yeah, so I didn't get confirmation yet on if Chris Turner's bringing his new game to TPF. I'm looking at being there, so hopefully we'll get to play something, and we'll see. You know, Merlin's Arcade. I don't know if it's doing Ninja Eclipse numbers. So is he going to like stay on this game for another year and really keep pushing it to get some units made, or are they just gonna pivot to a new game and then they can still like go back and forth between making them depending on how demand settles? I really want to buy a Turner game. I just need the right one to come out. That's exactly where I'm at. He's saying like his goal is to make a game that I buy, and I'll want to get one. I want to get one. Ninja Eclipse didn't jive with me. The theme or something was a little weird. Um, but I played the game again recently. Yeah, here in Cleveland. Fun game. You know, game's fun. Shoots well. I like how you can loop that shot in the back. It needs to have the castle mech or castle sculpt in it. I know he sent me the files for it. I printed it up. The thing is, it was never completely finished. So you still have to come up with a way to attach it. And there is a way to do that. Some custom parts need to be engineered to really get it to fit to a way that people could just buy it and add it to their games easily without having to drill into a playfield. But I don't have a game here to do test fits on. I shipped one to Russell. I went down to his house. We got it to fit in there, and then I got some good feedback. But then, like, I need to engineer some parts and get them in a game, and I don't have access to one. There's none around here that I can just pop into and like figure it out, so I can get these things out to people. So that's frustrating. Um, Merlin's Arcade is a game. It's very yellow. Fun to shoot. I want to play it some more. My enthusiasm didn't match the asking price, so as of now, I don't have one coming. I wouldn't turn down getting one in the future, but I need a bunch of them to sell so they're out there available, used for me down the road. Um, and then, so yeah, so I'm waiting to see what his next one is. And if it's a licensed theme and I can get behind it, just a modicum, like I'm all in, and I'm gonna be like Captain Turner, man. Yeah, I mean, I had fun playing Merlin. We had some good games on it. Um, it's a pretty simple layout of a game, and it didn't come with like super compelling code. Like a Pulp Fiction at first glance, very simple, but like deep. The light shows are incredible. The callouts are amazing. They're in your face. They're vulgar. Uh, it's like multi balls. There's two ways for physical locks to happen. There's a Pulp Fiction frenzy that happens. There's characters to collect. There's modes to play through, and like it didn't have that, which could have put it up over the top. And every time the ball drained, you had to wait for the figures, the sculpts, to talk to each other, which was cool. Like in an arcade setting, where you're playing this game a couple of times. But at home, I could see myself just sitting there, like hitting buttons, like come on, come on, come on, I want to keep playing. So I forgot to use the extra flipper button. It's kind of cool we put that in there. There's a lot of innovation. We haven't seen the final form of Turner yet. Guy's a smart guy, very clever, really good ingenuity in design. I think what he doesn't have is like a huge design team. Like there's not like a creative, like a big creative talent that's there. To make a game come together. Turner can build it, and Turner can design it, and the light boards and the plug and play stuff is all fantastic. And that's like his strength. The tech that's there, the app that he's developed, the innovations he's put into the cabinet. There just needs to be like a Walt Disney there that can bring a concept of a world to the team, and then that's when we're going to see Turner take off. I think. But I think he still has a stack of other designs that he can release, and those things are already done. That saves a lot of money. You know, but if he's got programming know-how and engineering know-how and electrical software stuff, those are all things like I don't understand. You know, if like he would just go in and do Alice in Wonderland and make a cool, compelling design, take bits and pieces from old Bally Williams games, bring them in, along with some new magic and like a singular mech that's interesting with how he builds cabinets and how he does his design, I think it would be unstoppable, man. We'd all be dying to have it. So hopefully that's what happens. I tried to get him to I tried to get him to buy Cuphead, but there's no way that's happening, unfortunately. Because dude could take that, put it in his cabinet, it would work great. God, I'm so sad. I want that game to be made. And at this point, it's all hands on deck, man. We're trying to Deadpool this thing. If we can get enough leaks out there, maybe like somebody can be compelled to make it. And I think for a company like Turner, having a game like that would do like 800 no problem, I think that'd be perfect for him. Perfect. Spooky's got their dance card is full. They've got like 5 or 6 probably killer themes ready to go and stacked up as far as the eye can see. Man, they just don't have any room to put a new game out. That happens to the best of us, Sturl. What's our clock? How long have we been going for? I started late. So stupid. and it was operator error. 40 minutes. Okay. So yeah, who's excited for Big Bang Bar? Oh no, forget Big Bang Bar. I'm 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 totally enthusiastic about Big Bang Bar compared to this other game that's rumored to be coming out. I'm surprised the Matrix was never made. There's probably a good reason why. I was at AP a couple weeks ago. Cab for Cuphead looked great. Sad the playfield was missing in action. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, Alan, I'm with you. I think myself, the guys at Mad Pinball, and the reason I love working with Jeff so much is he's passionate and crazy just like I am. And, he's been playing Space Hunt for like a year now just because went to the company direct and we got a prototype game imported to the US and now it's touring around arcades um, in the Cleveland area, which is great. And he's absolutely the type of person, and that's absolutely the type of team that would go and if there was a way to just buy that prototype and like get it out so people could play it, we'd be doing it. All right, so my point I was going to make, my level of enthusiasm for Big Bang Bar overall terribly low because I don't think the game's that great. It's going to be dated. It's going to feel weird. But my enthusiasm for it is over the moon compared to Retro Atomic Zombie Adventureland. I was looking at the deep root images again yesterday, and there's a couple of plastic ramps. It's Papa Duke junk. Um, I don't even know if it's like a fully fleshed out layout or anything, or just a kind of a concept of ideas. We know that the whole idea of the game was to bilk people out of money, right? It's like a criminal level of enterprise. So they weren't walking in with the vision of let's create this amazing game with everything we can put into it and get something, a creative touchstone out into the ether there, and then something we'll stand behind, and we're very passionate about it. They're passionate about bilking people out of money and scamming people, not making a great game. So while it looks like a game, I don't know that it's why make it, right? The whole reason for it to exist was to show people that don't know anything about pinball, look, we're making something that the kids are going to think is great, and then let us sign over your wire transfers. Let's get your money. So why in the world would you go back this day and age and like resurrect this game? This wasn't like oh the game that almost was, right, the thing that was going to be legendary within the community, and like this was what everybody was just so desperate for, and it all fell apart at the end, and then here comes DPX swooping in to save this and give it to us as a gift of the pinball public, like he's our patron saint of failed games. I think it's just a bad idea all around. Bad concept, bad art. Just like, why would you waste time doing this unless the whole reason was just to scam people? And then they're going to come out with this game and try to plus it up. Put Stumbler in there, put Leor in there, and bring it to the world on a plate for like $15,000. Ridiculous. It just seems stupid. Whereas Cuphead really was the game that should have been and was dashed in the like the final little run up. Probably because the dice mech, I guess they weren't allowed to use it and they did. But you know what? So what? So what? Rip the dice mech out, put an LCD screen in there, and just do it with animations and software. It's not that big of a deal. It was kind of neat, right? But it shouldn't bog down the whole game just because you had to just put a little screen in there instead and show animated dice. It would get the same effect across, and maybe the game would have scored 88% on the Metacritic analysis, and now it'll be an 83% because it doesn't have a pop-o-matic bubble. But like, so what? So what? You know, and then maybe somebody creates a mech that you can swap in there later on if you really want it. But like, it shouldn't sandbag the whole thing, right? So yeah, we all want to buy it. I've put my hat in there. I'm like, listen, if I can get it, I'll pay money. I want to have it. I want it to exist. I want people to be able to play it. Like, that's something that should be resurrected. DPX, put that out, and I'll run up and put a deposit on one. That's what should be. That's what should be resurrected. That's what should be made to see the light of day. The Fates may be trying to cut the string. That's one that Hercules should save. Let Raza die. It's just let it stay dead. Zombie game, perfect. Leave it in the fucking graveyard. Terrible. Big Bang Bar. If you can get sales and make some money on it, and get some more of this game out there. I know it's got a high profile because it was so rare for so long. Sure, make them. You know, for that matter, go and do a 100 run of Data East King Kong too. You know, just so it can be out there, not because I think it's fantastic, but just so it can exist, people can play it. That's fine. Let Raza stay dead. Save Cuphead. We should do like instead of Save Ferris T-shirts, we'll Save Cuphead. Of all the things you could devote your time and energy to, why a crappy deep root game? And if it doesn't come in a pin pod, was anybody even gonna want it? Yeah, that's stupid. Stupid. Raza. I mean, the idea for Alice was kind of cool, but then, I mean, honestly, the part we really loved about Alice was the art, and that's the one part they didn't use. I don't know. Alice is still a pretty game, man. And like I said on my show, if you want to get a game and put it in your game room, you're not really going to play it, you're just going to look at it. It's great, man. It's fantastic. I hope they don't do Magic Girl because they'll have to redo the art of Magic Girl, which was the only part of the game that I liked. That art was great, and of course they can't use it, so they're going to have to do another Magic Girl missing an areola. I guess if you're going to do this type of art, maybe pick up a magazine or do some research into what female anatomy looks like. Yeah, and so like I can see the idea, right? If Dutch Pinball, which they're not, but if they were cranking out a cornerstone every year, like how Spooky does, like one big budget, you know, all hands on deck, everything's in there, bringing out like the killer game, and then they would have another subline for a run of like 500 of something, just like something niche, something that wouldn't do big numbers, will be built high end, it's small numbers. I think it's a great idea. I think the idea behind DPX is phenomenal. But the first effort, I think they're better than that game was. And I still think it's an interesting idea because there's niche themes that maybe you don't want to sell 3,000 of, or maybe there's not 3,000 buyers for them, but there's 500 for something really cool, you know? Like we just talked about this Bug, Franchi, and Carrie, and then myself even joined in on the live stream from this week. Go check it out. Talking about themes that they're passionate about, themes that they want to do, but they know if they brought it to market, they wouldn't be huge sellers. But amongst the people that bought them, they'd really love them. So that's the kind of themes they were looking at. I don't know what the business model for Dutch is. They made one game in 10 years. Um, Maybe they've got a angel investor. I don't know. But I thought, you know, as soon as they wrapped on Lebowski, they should have been positioned to, you know, the next 3 to 6 months have their next game drop and be in production right now. And if it's Back to the Future, like as soon as Lebowski wrapped, it should have been turning over the factory and training and then ordering parts and we're running our new game. And like that game should already be out right now and they should be starting to look at what the follow up to Back to the Future is, you know. Like if if they were on that cycle, right? But you know, where are they? You know, they opened up a separate factory across the street to run Alice, but why? You got the main factory's empty. Franchi's always a hoot, man. That was a great show. Listening to those guys. I'm sad that Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the film, is not licensable. Like it's just not available. That happens, and that sucks because everybody there seems passionate about it. We would have Pee Wee's Big Adventure pinball machine in this timeline if it was licensable. That's sad. So many cool characters and set pieces in that film. Um, I mean, every time I hear Tequila, right, you want to do the Pee Wee Herman dance. Like that's from that film. Um, when he goes out and like knocks over everybody's motorcycle like dominoes, and then takes off and hits the billboard, like super funny. Large Marge, right, is in that film. Um, The basement of the Alamo. The Alamo has been ridiculed for like since that film came out. With there's somebody there every single day that asks to see the basement because of that film. Cultural touch point. Andy, Simone, Paris, deep in the heart of Texas. It's just like funny set piece after funny set piece. Amazing Larry, the magic shop in the beginning, the pet store. This man's a hero. This man's a menace. And then going to Hollywood at the end, and then getting his film made. I'm a rebel, Dottie. God, I love that film. Go watch it now if you haven't seen it. But my God, what a goofy freaking movie. I know you are, but what am I? Francis. So would Pee Wee work? I would get one. Hell yeah. If I walked up to a show and there was like a line of Pee Wee Herman pinball machines, I would be all in that. How much is this? How can I get one? And so what you can get is Pee Wee's Playhouse assets, and you can get the character of Pee Wee. Pee Wee Herman came from the Groundlings, a comedy troupe in Los Angeles, where tons of great people came from there. The guy that did Roy McClure's voice in The Simpsons came from there. Got killed by his girlfriend. Um, Troy Hartman? No. What was the guy's name? Somebody help me out. Paging Mr. Herman. Yes. Phil Hartman, right? Came from the Groundlings, amongst others. Chit, the character that's tearing up the internet right now. If you haven't seen the Chit Show, CHIT, go check that out. Do it, lady. So Chit is a Groundling. So like all these like famous comedians came from this improv group called the Groundlings from Los Angeles. So the Pee Wee character came from that. Cassandra, thank you, Cassandra Peterson, Elvira as well. Like these guys are great, man. Like, what a troupe. Um, so the Pee Wee character came from there, and he would do shows. And he had a one man stage show. He had a couple other characters in there as well. It was the Pee Wee Herman show, and it was very much adult humor. But a lot of those gags like started there, like his childlike personality that was always a little bit demented with adult humor hidden in there. So you could get all that, and a lot of the jokes that ended up being in Pee Wee's Big Adventure, like this is where they started. This is where they came from. Shoe mirrors. Um, Captain Carl, Captain Carl came from the Pee Wee Herman show. But later, of course, was one of the cast of characters that was in Pee Wee's Playhouse. And don't forget, not the King of Cartoons, who's also phenomenal, but Cowboy Curtis from Pee Wee's Playhouse was freaking the guy from The Matrix, Lawrence Fishburne, right? I mean, come on, Miss Yvonne, Miss Steve. Yeah, it was a kids show, but like there was still that subtext of adult humor running through it, man. That buxom neighbor that would come by, and it's like all the adults were like, "Dude," and the kids just thought it was just Miss Yvonne, right? The flowers, King of Cartoons, the door-to-door salesman. Um, I forget the name of the postal carrier, but like all those characters could be in there. Remember was he the lifeguard or the soccer coach? Like this Latin guy that would come by and he would always be shirtless. Like who was that for? That wasn't for the kids watching. That was for the moms and some of the dads, I think. But like, yeah, all of that in a machine. I could see a lot of teal. I could see Franchi doing the art. I've already got it pictured in my head what it would look like. I wonder what it is in that film IP-wise that makes it undoable. I think it's whoever owns the license is not interested in licensing it out to anybody for anything. Franchi made it clear that's why there's no Pee Wee's Big Adventure, toys and action figures and all kinds of other crap. Because just I don't know who owns it, but they're just like licensing it out is not something they're interested in doing. So it's just not. No one will return your call. It just can't happen. But I think there's plenty. I think Franchi's right. I think there's plenty of other accoutrements that are available and licensable from that character to make a pinball machine work to the level of like a Big Lebowski. Oh, Dustin, shut your mouth. Do not put that on him. This would be another great theme that Multimorphic would get. And then, I think one of our sweetheart pinball companies went out to get Weird Al at one point and couldn't because they were making that module. And it's like that should have been just like a full machine and done so much better. My problem with it is that they came up with the original theme, and it's like it's Weird Al, dude. Just draw from his themes, man. Just imagine if the pinball machine just had each little area was themed after a different era of Al and different songs, and all the modes were integrated there and like an entire cabinet. Instead, it looks like you're looking down at a doctor's office. Very sterile, big screen with like him as a tyrannosaur dinosaur sculpture. They got it from the Alapalooza album cover, which just looked like the Jurassic. It was a parody of the Jurassic Park logo. They made him like a 3D Tyrannosaur skeleton that sings. It plays the same song every time. It's not like a Weird Al song. It's just like background music for some reason. And it's like, let me scroll through and pick Like a Surgeon, Eat It, UHF, and let me play through that. But no, I gotta go into the sterile museum for some reason, and you finally get into a mode and you get to hear the music, but only while that mode's going on. And then the flippers are on different buttons, so you're trying to figure it out. You end up draining, and then you're back to that same where you started. And then like they overuse the Harvey the Wonder Hamster, which should have just been like a specific moment, but it's in there all the damn time. And just the whole thing just came across as like a mess. And it's like, this is freaking Weird Al, man. This is one of the greatest licenses that you could get, and like this is what you did with it. you know I would have loved to see like what Stern would have done with that, what Spooky would have done with that, what Barrels would have done with it, what JJP would have done with it. And we can't now. And then they got Princess Bride, right? Another good film they like, and they just kind of made their little version of it, which is fine. Make your little version, but there should be a full-size version too. Man, Alan, I would love me some of those Disney afternoon shows. Darkwing Duck was awesome. I love me some Gummy Bears. Like, to this day, it's still good. Darkthorn. Love it. We gotta get the gummy berry juice. DuckTales would be awesome. The problem is Disney only answers phone calls if they're coming from Stern and sometimes JJP, to be honest. Yeah, other people are trying to make these games, all right? It's not like everybody just forgot about, Disney themes being amazing. They don't call back is the problem. You can't get through to somebody to start that process of licensing. A company like Disney is separated into divisions. What's up, Jeff? And so you go to this licensing fair in Vegas, and that Disney division will look at their properties and then look at the market and the climate and what's going on socially and culturally, and they'll say these are the 3 themes that we want to push for licensing in this business year. And so you go to licensing fair and you go there and you're like, we want to make the greatest Darkwing Duck pinball machine that's ever been made. And they're like, that's fine, but right now our properties that we are licensing, you have Sophia the First, Doc McStuffins, and something else or something, and we'll talk about doing deals for one of those. So it's not so much like what you can make as a designer that you're passionate about, and you have a whole team rallying around. You can make the greatest game ever. You're stuck with like, okay, but here's what's available. So which one of these do you want to do? And wisely, I think they look at that and say, we can't really do our vision with one of these themes, so we'll just pass. And I think that's what happens. But yeah, tell me you wouldn't go over and like the attract mode on DuckTales, firing up that theme song. I'd walk over there, hit start, and Gizmo Duck, right? Come on. Tailspin. I mean, the best game would have like all of these characters in there, and they're all going for like a unified goal. The DuckTales people and the Tailspin characters that they mash up to go and like defeat somebody. I would like to play a mode where I'm battling Don Carnage, right? It was a cool villain. The Disney afternoon cartoons had great villains. Don Carnage, remember him? He was like that fox or coyote character, very dashing, an air pirate. King Louie was in that too, and he was running that tiki bar. It was fantastic. What a great show. Jeff, what's going on in Canada, man? We're just talking pinball. We just hit an hour. I gotta get some lunch, dude. We started late today. I was up late working on projects. Got my D&D topper back there. Quick question, Don. In your last podcast, were you and Spooky Fellas texting about a one-eyed wet willy or just a regular wet willy? Good question. I'd be interested in that theme. I mean, that's been pervasive. I saw a playfield like 3 years ago that somebody had been working on and then had to stop. Maybe I'll dig that picture up and share it as I found it again online. But at one point, I know somebody was working on a Goonies, and they had an upper playfield that had the scales. You know, like when they go into the ship and they take the gold from the scale and it tips and starts a booby trap. So I think the gist of how this was supposed to work was you'd go to the upper playfield, the balls would roll off into one side of the scale to lock one ball, and then the other one would become available. Then you get both balls locked in the scales, and then I think they would dump into a multi-ball or something, which is an okay idea. But like the layout that I saw didn't look like crazy exciting or anything. And I don't know what happened to that. I don't know who was working on it. I'm not sure what happened to that project, but it ended up petering out. And then every now and then you see like a picture of an old Goonies cabinet somewhere. So it was a real project at some point. But I don't know like who for sure was making it. But maybe I'll take the photo and I'll drop it in Patreon maybe that I found. I came across online somewhere in some forum. It's been out there. If you search around, you might be able to find it. Went to play your Jaws the other night. Plans changed. Damn it. Bellingham is about to get my Kong too over here. So that'll be happening sometime soon. I've got the Electric Playground is sending me a Kong topper to go test fit and show off, which I'm excited about. And then I'll be taking that to Expo. It's going to be the grand prize for the homebrew topper competition. So if you're going to Expo, cobble together, use your ingenuity, make a pinball topper, bring it in, enter it into the contest. We'll collect votes on it, and then let's see if you can win something. There's a chance I might not be to Expo until late Thursday. But it's not for sure yet. But we're still going to do the topper contest. I'm going to have to rely on one of my partners to get it set up Thursday morning. But it's going to be fun. Went to play your Jaws the other day. So, yeah, over in Bellingham, they got a bunch of my games. They're getting more. They'll be getting Kong. They've already ordered Star Wars, so that'll be happening. And then we'll see what happens after that. You'd have to have the volume so loud for attract mode to call someone to a pin. I'd enter my Toten one, but I can't fly with that. That's probably a problem, yeah. You could ship it. I don't know if you can enter remotely, like take photos of it. We'll post a photo and people can vote on it. Maybe we'll do that in the future. But I just thought it'd be fun to have people bring stuff in and just have a chance to show it off. And, you know, we'll get some prizes. We'll do some silly voting. But I entered one of my first topper that I made. I entered it 2-3 years ago. Though it's a homebrew topper contest. I was the only person that entered. And at the time, it was a table that was set up by the bathrooms. But I brought my freaking Elvira topper in there, and I set it there. And I won. And I think I still have the prize around here somewhere. It's hanging up somewhere. But, like, it was super cool for me, like, to actually bring something into Expo and, like, put it out there. Like, I made this, you know, And then, you know, it functioned for the whole show, and then I got a prize. And it was like, I felt good about it, right? I didn't have a podcast, right? I wasn't doing custom versions of machines or anything yet. You know, just something like I made my first 3D printer. It took me forever to make it. I learned a lot about engineering and you know, designing and making parts that now I'm doing some kind of devastating stuff. And who knows where I'm going to end up. I don't even think I'm in the final form yet. There we go. But it was cool to win something. You know, here I am wandering in, and there's all these people with these amazing homebrew machines, and, like, I'm entering something that I made. Like, I was a kid at the county fair, like, I grew this pickle. I'm going to enter it, and then you get a ribbon, and you're like, awesome. And so, like, 2 years ago? When was that? I got to look back through my photos. That was, like, my first Expo. It definitely wasn't last year. It was, like, probably the year before that. Is this my third Expo or fourth? I don't know. Yeah, man, Expo's going to be nuts. October's going to be nuts. November's going to be very crazy. Um, and then I've only planned out that far. I'm sure it's going to keep getting crazy for me. Um, got an announcement coming out to the end of the month. I'm very excited about. The housing project is coming together. Background may be changing. Just saying. We will have a new place to stream from. Um, excited about that. Can almost talk about it. And then it's going to be November, December. We're going to get new games coming out. We'll know if Star Wars is good or bad. We'll know what Spooky's next game is. We'll be looking forward to Pinball at the Beach and TPF. Go to Houston in November. I very highly think there's no way I can pull that off. November's packed. Things are going to get crazy for me over the next couple months. A lot of moving parts. We're redesigning kind of everything. Very exciting times, but you know, it's like one thing led to another, that led to another, to led to several other things, and so it's going to take a little bit of time for the dust to settle. By spring, we're going to be in a good place by spring. Very excited about it. Still waiting for the Pinball at the Beach to launch for sale. Right, dead to me. Come on, Jeff, buddy, brother. I honestly don't think I have any spare time in November. I'll be in Florida for a bulk of it, work conference, and then I'm hanging out with some Australians that'll be touring around. So if you want to come meet the Phantom Tilt folks, we'll be in Florida hanging out. It's going to be awesome. And then, big things are coming up. A lot of work shakeups, exciting stuff. Got myself a new position, promotion kind of stuff. So it's all going. So maybe I'll end up with enough room and money for a Dune and a Big Bang Bar and hell, even a Raza. Gotta do something with all of it. All right, fam. It is time for some food. So thank you for joining this awesome Sunday live stream. Alan says, if I'm looking for a home theater in your new place, I'm your guy. Lots of experience and lessons. Alan, I'm going to put you on my list, man. Because, yes. Dustin, maybe. Maybe. Mr. Nosy. We'll see. Oh, man. I have to pack to head to Chicago, man. I know Mad Pinball's going to be in town. They're going to the distro show on the 9th. So I need to hang out down there with those guys. So if you'll be in Chicago and you want to kick it, grab a pizza or something, holler at me. I'll be there the next couple of days. But yeah, that was fun. We'll do this again next Sunday. And by then we should be able to talk about what the Star Wars game is, what's in it, should you buy one now, which one should you buy. It sounds like regardless of how great this game is it good, is it just mediocre, I think the LEs are probably selling out. Just flat out. Based on just want lists from distros I've talked to. Gomez knows all. All right, man. We'll talk about it. Let's pop over and wrap this up. I'll talk to you guys. We'll do podcasts and stuff, but we'll meet again next week, okay? Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. Stay cool.